Hey everyone, so for this month's video, I actually let you guys decide which vegetable I'm going to make based on the Facebook poll that I posted last month on the support group. So the veggie that won is Brussels sprouts, and it's one of those veggies that's kind of hit or miss. Either you really love it or you don't. So I hope for those who don't really like it, that this can help change your mind. But today we're going to be doing a nice roasted Brussels sprouts, and it's going to have a pound of Brussels sprouts with garlic, salt, black pepper, some honey, balsamic vinegar, and olive oil. So it's a really simple dish. It's going to have a lot of flavor, and I really look forward to making it today. So this is a Brussels sprout right here. If you guys aren't too familiar with them, they kind of taste like cabbage. So if you want to think of it as like mini cabbages. As far as health benefits, they've got a lot of nutrients in them. So first and foremost, just the fiber in them really help with maintaining blood sugars. The vitamin C really helps with iron absorption and immune function. And then the vitamin K, it really helps with blood clotting and for bone health too. So you're getting a lot of nutrients in just such a small vegetable. As far as preparation, it's pretty simple. All you got to do really is just cut off this end part here, the stem, and then if there's any leaves on the outside that might have turned brown or don't look so fresh, you just peel them back. So it's super simple. Again, just cutting that stem off, and then you cut it lengthwise. So then you get two halves. So then they look kind of like that. And then once I cut all these together, I'm going to mix them in a bowl with the oil, the salt, and the pepper before they go into the oven. Alright, so now that the sprouts are all cut up, now we're going to add the oil and the seasoning. So for this recipe, we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And not only is this oil going to help the seasoning stick, but it'll also help the Brussels sprouts crisp up in the oven too. So it's really important that you get enough oil there, but just not too much to make it too greasy. So there's the 2 tablespoons there, and then we're going to add our seasoning. So what it is, it's about a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and just throw that in there, and then roughly a half teaspoon of salt. And then for pepper, you can kind of just do it as much as you feel like is good, because everybody is a little different with pepper, but I'm just going to do about 10 grinds of pepper or so. And once that's all in there, you're just going to mix it up. Make sure it's really well coated so that each of the sprouts are going to have some seasoning on it. And if some of the leaves end up falling off just kind of like that, it's not really a big deal. It's really hard to keep Brussels sprouts together, so just want to make sure they're evenly coated. And so once they're mixed, we're going to throw it onto the baking sheet, and that's when it'll go in the oven. Now that they're all mixed together, we're just going to throw it onto a baking sheet. And you just want to make sure that there's enough room between each of the sprouts, because if they're too close together, they're going to end up kind of almost like steaming because they're too close together. So they need that space so that they can individually roast and ideally get crispy. So again, you want to just make sure they're nice and spread out. And we have our oven set at 425 degrees, and we're going to put it in there for 20 minutes and let it roast. Alright, so now these Brussels sprouts are out of the oven, and actually they got a little bit too dark, so we're actually going to knock that temperature down to about 400 degrees and then cook it for about 15 minutes. So then that way they're not going to be too dark. They should be nice and roasted by then. Alright, so we have these done, and now we're going to add another layer of flavor to it, and that's where we're going to add the balsamic and the honey. So in that same mixing bowl that you used, we're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of the vinegar, and then another 1.5 tablespoons of the honey. So now that the honey and the balsamic is in, we're just going to throw these sprouts in and just kind of toss it to coat, just like we did with the oil, the salt, and the pepper. So again, and just make sure that all the sprouts are going to be covered in some of this honey balsamic mixture. Alright, so now that it's all mixed together, you see it's really nice and evenly coated all around. And yeah, they're all going to have really good flavor. It's going to have salty, sweetness, a little bit of tartness as well, and yeah, they're ready to eat now. Alright, and that's it. As you can see, it's a super simple recipe, and it's something that you can just make during the week, or especially with the holidays coming up, it could be a great thing to have as well. As far as pricing goes, the bag of Brussels sprouts I got was $1.59 at Aldi's. It was already washed, so it's just super convenient. And if you just compare it to at a restaurant, you're definitely easily going to pay like $15 for like a huge plate of Brussels sprouts. So you're seeing once again that it's not too difficult to make vegetables, even if you're trying to watch money and be on a budget. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to making the next one.